Hey, what's up? It's Jared with State of Tech, and I have a Galaxy Note 7 tip for you on getting phenomenal battery life out of your Note 7. Now, the Note 7 already has a pretty decently sized battery, and for most of you, you're probably easily getting all day use out of the battery. For me, though, I use my phone quite a bit. I'm always jumping between applications, and the applications that I use are a little bit more battery usage intensive. So for those of you that want to get even better battery life out of your Note 7 than you're already able to get, here's what you need to do. Now there's two ways to circumvent allowing things to run in the background and use a lot of battery life. You can of course just close your applications out by tapping on the multitask button and tapping on close all. That's going to go ahead and close out all of the applications that you have opened. Or you can install the device maintenance widget that is a built-in feature of this phone. So as you can see, I have it right here. I'm going to go ahead and remove it and show you how to install it. So tap and hold on your background, tap on widgets, and then you're going to need to swipe until you get to the device maintenance widget. Tap and hold on that widget and then put it in place somewhere on your home screen where you have room. And then just make it a point to tap that button every time you get ready to put your phone away. So for example, if I tap on that right now, it says that I have 0 apps running in the background because I had already cleared everything out. But let me go in here really quick and I'm going to open up the camera and just not completely close it. I'm going to open up Instagram and not completely close it, just kind of close out of the app normal. I'll open up the Best Buy app here. Let it load a little bit. And then I'll do the same thing to the Major League Baseball at Bat app. So now I've opened a couple of applications and they are, essentially still opened in the background. They're not running, they're not visible because I don't have them open, but they are in the background. So if I tap on that device maintenance, it's going to go ahead and tell me here as soon as it updates, 52 apps running in the background closed, almost 800 megabytes of memory saved. So I don't know how, but in the opening up a couple of those applications, a ton of other stuff started happening in the background, and this essentially closes all of that. Now the same thing happens when you go to the multitask and you tap on close all. Close all gets rid of all of those multitask options that you can go back to those applications that you were in, but it also closes out all of those processes. So now if I tapped on device maintenance again, it's going to say I have 0 background apps running and all of that good stuff. If you make it a practice to do this right before you put your phone away every time, and maybe even in between when you're using your phone and you've been using your phone for a long period of time, and you've gone through a bunch of apps, just tap on that and kind of close out some of those processes. You're going to get an extremely long length of battery time out of the phone. Now, I've been using this phone off and on all day. It's after 3 p.m. And for me, usually I would be down in the 30-20% battery life. And that doesn't matter whether I'm on a phone like this or an iPhone. Usually my battery life is towards the end. It's getting there. Like I know that I'm going to need to plug in pretty soon. And in this instance, because I've been very on top of either tapping that device maintenance widget or closing out all the applications, I have 68% battery life left. Now for the average user, that means you will probably end up with more like 80% battery life left after, a good part of your day. And that's essentially because you are limiting what is able to stay running in the background of the phone. Even when your phone screen is turned off, like mine is right now, if I hadn't have closed out those applications, there's still processes running in the background. Now, just because I did that doesn't mean that nothing is running in the background. Like your phone still has processes running in the background. It's still going to accept a call. If your email application is set to check your email every 30 minutes, it's still going to do all of those things. It just doesn't have those applications running fresh. Their background processes are still going to be able to run, but the app itself isn't sitting there in memory, using up battery life and all that stuff. Simply doing this, I've been able to save a lot on battery. Now, if you want a couple of bonus tips on how to save even more on battery, what you need to do is go and actually get rid of some of the applications that run background checks a lot. You don't have to necessarily get rid of the applications per se, but you need to shut that down. I did mention, a lot of us have email applications that either check for email every 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes or whatever, or some of them are set for push, which means when an email comes through, the phone accepts it right away, instead of only accepting email every certain amount of time. So what I would recommend doing is actually just turning that off for your email and for any other application that tends to check for updates. Facebook is a major part of the bottleneck there with battery. Facebook is always running in the background, waiting for updates and all that stuff, and checking your location and giving you information and whatnot. So if you could turn that off among not just Facebook, but Twitter and any other application that potentially uses your location and wants to update your location, if you turn that off or allow it only to be triggered when you open the app, you're going to save a ton of battery life. And so an easy way to know what is running in your locations is to go into your settings, and if you can, just do a search for location, or scroll down to the location settings and tap on location. And then you're going to see, like on my Note 7 here, you're going to see these are the apps that have most recently used location. And it says battery usage low, but there's a bunch of apps here and all of them say low. So I would say that if a bunch of applications say low, maybe collectively they mean medium. So if I could disable background notification requests here on these, which I'm not going to be able to do here, I'm actually going to have to go into the application specifically and set that. Then I'll be able to limit the amount of battery life my phone is using when it's in rest mode, when the screen's off, when it's in my pocket, and I'm not physically using a certain application. So that's another way that you can do that. There's some of these phones, and the Note 7 does it this certain way, but some of these phones allow you to limit the amount of this in the settings. I have a review of the Huawei Honor 8 coming up soon, and that one has a really cool management system for the battery in it that's actually even better than what the Note 7 has here. But what's great is you can actually come in here and you can, close some of these down. You can see that Maps uses a ton of battery. I would want to be careful using Maps without having my phone plugged into a charger. I know that some of those applications that use your constant location data, it's always pinging the GPS and trying to triangulate your location. So it's using a lot more of your battery life than typical. And so there's lots of different things that you can do. If you really want to save on battery, turn off location altogether. That's a huge battery suck, is the location data. If you're not using anything in your phone that needs location, just turn it off for the time being. You can set it as one of your quick settings here. You can see I have a couple here. I've got location. You can move it up higher in the list, or you can just tap on it when you don't need it and turn off notifications. Most apps, when you go into them, if they require location to work, then you can actually just turn it off and turn it back on right when the app needs it, instead of having it on all the time. That's why these are considered quick settings, because it makes it easy for you to turn them on and off, such as NFC, Wi-Fi, your location, and all that good stuff. And then if you really just want to use it, there is the battery saver modes, but the battery saver modes are going to do a lot of things. They're not only going to restrict the performance of your phone, but they're going to restrict other features as well. I don't necessarily think that you need to restrict the performance of the phone. It's just if we restrict some of those features that are typical high battery usage features, then we can get a lot of use out of our phone. In my testing with this, I was able to get 2 full days of use out of a Galaxy Note 7. That's pretty crazy. And so depending on how you go in and you change some of these things, or even just my initial tip at the beginning, which was use the device maintenance widget or close all of your applications when you get done, if you do those things, you're going to get a ton more battery life out of your phone than you would have normally. So hey, if you have any tips that you found that have just given excellent battery life on the Note 7, leave them for us in the comment section below. If you like this video, click on the thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to our channel so that you get notifications here on YouTube when we put out new videos. Thanks so much for checking out State of Tech, and we hope to see you back soon.